to teach you something. I think it's time. You will understand it.
Teach
but
us all.
you have to understand. Yeah, you got to understand. John, you're right on top of it, but that's a gift to you if you understand what I'm talking about. Can I have a white screen, please? Can somebody give me a white screen? Nope. John, you got to stop sharing.
I did.
Thank you very much. You spoke about... Where is my pen? Cannot. Oh, I cannot. Okay, there we go. You speak about... This is going back to the physics theory. I have to finish in exactly 58 minutes. I have to go urgent. Please remind me in exactly 38 minutes to go. You see, you explained, you put a nano coated copper, you put the zinc in, you put your H3 in, yeah? And in this H3, you did something, what is there because of the fields, and you have created, sorry, CH3, you created H3. Then you speak about, or I spoke about, or a lot of you speak about doing the next step to create a H2 from H3. Have you understood nuclear physics construction?
I'm not an expert.
You've got to be an expert. Come on, John. You've been long enough here. You're the old man of this game, and you played more than anybody else.
I've played a lot.
Sometimes it's got to be the right play.
Okay.
Look at what you have achieved. What do we call? What do we call a tritium? Tritium is one electron what do you have extra in H3? Anyone?
One neutron.
Voila. Voila. Do you remember in my teachings I always explained, when a man reaches to understand how to use a neutron, then man opens the space.
I remember.
Now, when you move from H3 to H2, where does this neutron go? Or in a plasmatic condition, where does the energy of the neutron goes? Only one man has managed to reach this space, and he has not understood it, and he's still puzzled. If you can change, or if you understood, or if you can understand a system, or you can develop a system where you can always remember you have GaNSs of these materials, you don't have the physical matter of these materials. If you can capture this energy, the third entity, external neutron, you have created neutron reactor. Depth of universe is yours.
And that's where we get into oxygen as being the magnetic for the universe. True.
Don't forget, you repeat the same process again when you go to hydrogen. Huh? What is hydrogen? One electron, one proton, and you speak about it so freely. But again, what is missing here? Where does the energy go? One more neutron. So, if you understood everything which you all spoke about, and everybody speaks about, if you put your H2 and your H3 and your hydrogen, what do you get? GaNs of neutron. This is the space.
Are you saying add them all together? I missed something.
I hope it's recorded. You haven't missed anything. You haven't understood what I explained.
Say it again in different language.
Okay, I speak in the layman language. You remember when you put a copper and copper, what did you get? GaNs of the copper.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, what happened when you put GaNs of hydrogen, GaNs of tritium, and GaNs of deuterium? What is the balance with it? They all have this in, so what is left to give? 2 neutron, 1 neutron, no neutron. Do you understand?
Are you saying put them in a salt environment?
Da-da-da-da.
Okay,
Da-da-da-da.
I got it now then.
You got it now. So if you go, you came to the point of producing CH3 and you cannot strengthen your system. Yeah?
Yes.
Means your GaNs are not powerful enough. When you put a more mass into it, that's all it is. It's a 2-liter engine. You cannot get a 4-liter engine out of it. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes if you take the fuel out and adjust your carburetor and whatever, you can get maybe 3 or 4 out of it. This is how, if you understand how to do it the correct way, you understand you have the capability to produce GaNs of neutron, and then you can use it as a space fuel. Then the speed beyond the speed of light, imagination of man can be achieved. Go back to my teaching very past few years. Always said the point of maturity of space travel comes when man knows how to use neutron. Because it doesn't divide anymore itself, but it shares power of highest order. You can start stripping it. With other GaNs, you always have diminishing ratio. When you have a neutron, you don't. It's the mother, is the essence. So whatever it splits to, it pulls back to. So those of you who are going, the space level with this knowledge moves one step closer to space flight. I said, you move, I teach. We saw Mashwak bringing something out, but he doesn't understand, but he understood part of it. We see all of you keep on speaking. I made H3, I made H2, I make hydrogen. And when I tell you what you make, you don't know. Now, if you have, you say you made H2, which is in the crystal condition, and you made H3, go back to copper and zinc, one is nanocoated. The only nano element left individually in this set is what? Nitrogen. Sorry, neutron. And this neutron gas does not mix with, it cannot be oxidized. But you have to find a way to hold it. And you have to find a way that you can use it in the space reactors. That's a million years of research and development in the space. You got it in one sentence, if you understand it. Don't forget, I'm a nuclear physicist. And I know the inside the structure of the plasma and a nucleus. So if your knowledge, if your space reactor needs to go a step up, you're looking for nearly the ultimate fuel. This is how to make it. Why did you manage to create copper oxide or zinc oxide when you had a nano coating of the same, which is a metal? Now, gameplay is the same. You have 1 nano cell free. Now that we've seen the light, we go one step up. But there are other ways, without going through this process, if you don't understand, that you can produce continuous release of what you call neutron.
That's a lot of good information you shared with us today.
I'm here to teach when you're ready to listen. This is why you cannot see, you cannot push your dimension beyond. At the bottom 3 reactors, you're pulling apart the tritium. But some of it in escaping becomes H2, and then it gets energy from the outside, it goes back to H3. And when you put that H3 directly in the center high speed, you actually create, if you look at it, this condition. And then you still have partially these 2 in it. So if you can produce neutron plasma, understand what you're doing, there's a specific way, I'm sure some of you will grasp it very quickly, then you are more, when you put this in your system, then you see the lights in the easier way.
Would you call that neutron plasma magnetical?
Neutron plasma is neutral and it interacts according to its planet. It turns over itself because it has no connection.
Okay.
Do you remember we talked about Einstein, who never understood through his mathematical work? He called it a funny thing. When he said one atom turns, the other one turns, or one polarity turns, the other one turns. And he couldn't understand it. To him was funny because he didn't have a knowledge of physics in a way. This neutron plays the game. You have to be able to control it, that it stays North Pole, South Pole, as you want to call it, in the direction you want, and then you change it to South Pole, North Pole, and then you land. Playing the game with a what do you call it, neutron, is very dangerous if you don't know how to open the space of it. But you don't need more than 2 or 3 neutrons to create huge lifts, massive, millions of tons. In most of the planetary system, total maybe 1 or 2 grams of it in the center of the planet.
I was reading today that the density of neutrons is, if there was a cubic centimeter, it would weigh billions of tons just in the matter state that they talk about as scientists.
Yeah, because it creates its own gravitational field, a magnetical field. So the next step in the game of space, I know John now starts playing, we won't see him for 4 weeks, he'll be playing to make things, is how to make that neutron free. But in your talks today, you said it, but you didn't understand. Now maybe it brings back in light a lot of things. So if you can make the gas of neutron, we enter the space technology in true essence. But there are other ways to do it.
Mr. Keshe, this is MOSFET. I have a question. So deuterium is the fuel and tritium and hydrogen dictates the ratio, which way the neutron will be going, magnetical or gravitational. Am I correct?
Not really. You're still going back to the matter state. Try to understand field transaction. If you want to play the game of what I call space technology with the heavy gravitational magnetical, you play this game. Now you have two neutrons balancing. That's the field of it, but you have to convert it into the GaNS state of it. If you play this game, then you have a single. Or the next door to it, which is a hydrogen and stereo. Again, you have a single. But these neutrons are totally different from each other. What you get from the hydrogen balance, but don't forget these are in a plasmatic condition. And then if you can make a GaNS of it, you have to go to the same process of loading that you create the field of the neutron. And this gives you key to the universe. I told you, I take man to space to be equal to the others, not to superior order. Not when you see suddenly the property of neutron, you just go crazy and becomes perfect. Understand the process. Understand what I explained. Understand the energy transfer connection is on the plasmatic condition here, is not by putting a light up and trying to use it. This process dictates the condition of the use of nano-coated materials. Because that's the only way energy plasmatic flows through. The matter state of it, if you look at it, the copper state does not allow anything. The gap of the nano layers would allow the field, and depends how you pressed it, you keep the strength to it, and then you have to have a plasmatic system that it balances the two. In a way, if you put two cores next to each other connected, you get the same. I've done this in there. If you look at the structure in the Sensano, I covered it this way, but many people haven't seen it. They don't understand it. If we understand this, any question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We do have.
We stick to the space technology if it is. There is a message here if some of you understand. Happy birthday to those who are the mothers today.
That are the mothers today?
Today. And now, if you look at this structure and you cannot control the neutron, or you deliberately allow the neutron to play its game to open up, then you become the creator. because it's the energy balance of the, what you call conversion, which decides this is going to be the energy level of hydrogen or energy level of copper or gold. So according to the environment you create for the neutron, single neutron converts itself to any elements in the universe. Which means the environmental condition decides the splitting. Then when it wants to convert to matter according to the split of the energy, it takes 2 electrons and protons, and then conversion of some allows, in interaction with the environment, dictating energies which we call the neutron energy to be solidified and convert itself to the matter state of that element. So out of 1 neutron, you can build any entity in the universe, any matter state, but you have to understand how you open it up and how you allow it to be done. Because don't forget, your neutron, the size of it, the energy it carries, is dictated by central line of the galaxy, universe. So its size has all the properties of all the elements within the universe from where it started to here. There are much more heavier elements which man is not aware of it, and we become more and more aware of them as we break into the barriers towards the central line, what we call the principal line matter of the universe. The hydrogen, the gold and whatever we see are very weak elements, because it's there at the boundaries of the what you call the galaxies and the universe. But as we progress and we go more towards the central line of the plasma of the neutron of this universe, you'll see new matters, and this is how it works. If you go back in some of the teaching, I explained that what they call fusion technology is a dream and is not something will never happen. Now you understand the conversion of the plasma to matter state. So fusion is nothing but loads of because physicists wrote some papers. The conversion of elements comes from the transformation of the plasma into matter state, not from fusion. And if you understand it, a single neutron can become any element, or if you handle it the right way that you can open it up, it can behave as a galaxy or a universe itself. Now you understand what's the next step to build the proper space system. Now all the ones of you who are building these space reactors are back to their drawing board. But a lot of you understand there is nothing ahead of the Chinese or the Americans or the other groups which are testing. Now the new game starts, and this is a final game more or less for all of you to step up. And remember what I said in conversion of the energies and fields. Am I clear, John?